Welcome back to Faith International. I'm Patrick Kelly.
And I'm Nicola Kelly.
And this is your channel for faith, motivation, and
inspiration.
Hope that you've been inspired by this series coming out of 2 Kings chapter 7. Today we have the final installment of the lessons that we learned from them. Lesson number 7 is about philanthropy, how we're blessed really to be a blessing to others. Now let me apologize at the forefront because the video, when we got near the end of this series, the video started acting crazy, and so not to be a distraction, we've collated or curated some still shots of me preaching, but the audio is fine. So if you listen intently, you'll still be able to get the message and hopefully enjoy this lesson on philanthropy. So take a listen, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about it.
Amen.
So we come now to the 7th and the last lesson, the lesson of philanthropy, because they go in and they find provisions. When the lepers, verse 8, came to the outskirts of the camp, they went into one tent and ate and drank and carried from it silver and gold and clothing and went and hid them. Then they came back and entered another tent and carried some from there also and went and hid it. So they're enjoying the provisions. Man, this is more food than we've seen. They ate till they were full. They found gold and silver and clothing. They carried some off and hid it. And then they come back and look in another tent. Then it dawns on them, this place is empty. And we are not doing good, verse 9. This is a day of good news. And we're silent. If we wait till morning, some punishment may come upon us. They were convicted in that moment of their selfishness. They realized that their fortune was not just for them, but they needed to turn around and be a blessing to the city. Their brethren who were starving and hungering in the city needed to know that all is well and there's food available. So they could not claim it all for themselves. Neither could they consume it all by themselves. They were convicted of their selfishness. And isn't that one of our greatest struggles, brothers and sisters? That in our striving and our achieving and in our accomplishing, if we're not careful, we become very selfish to the point where we don't share our resources. We don't even want people to know that we found a source, that we found a window, that we found an opportunity. We try to hide it to ourselves. When the design of God is that if I have blessed you, you ought to turn around and be a blessing to somebody else. In fact, he blesses you to be a blessing. He blesses you to be a blessing. Remember Deuteronomy 15 and 11, the Israelites were taught that they should be charitable, that when God brings them into the land of promise, houses they didn't build, vineyards they didn't plant, and they're prospering, don't forget those that are in need around you. Deuteronomy 15 and 11 says, for the poor will never cease from the land. Therefore, I command you, saying, you shall open your hand wide to your brother, to your poor and your needy in your land. Don't operate with a closed fist. Open up your hand. And it's not that you're giving away everything. You have enough that you can help somebody with what you have. And they are convicted in the text, recognizing that they have the favor of God, but they also realize they have brothers and sisters that are hurting and hungering and dying. And they need to, out of their good fortune, be willing to share it with those that need. Billy Graham once said that God has given us two hands, one with which to receive and the other with which to give. Our problem is we're always like this. I want to receive. Loose your hand and give. And see if God won't give you more. That's philanthropy. That's the willingness to look around and realize what I have, God gave me. Where I am, God brought me. Who I am, God made me. And where I can be a help and a blessing to lift up my brother, to help my sister, I'm willing to do it. That's philanthropy. We think that only the very rich can do it or should do it. In fact, we often look to the wealthiest among us, people like Bill and Melinda Gates or Warren Buffett or even Mark Zuckerberg. They have the money. Let them do it. Well, they are doing it. Those individuals are accounted among the wealthiest Americans that have ever lived. But they're also known for their generosity. The Gates and Buffett decided to give the majority of their wealth away. They're not keeping it for themselves. They're not even just bequeathing it to their family in its entirety. They're helping the less fortunate. They're helping others that have need by giving of their wealth. Somehow they've recognized that out of their wealth and their prosperity, there comes a responsibility to turn around and be benevolent towards others. But as much as they give and help others, they are not the most generous Americans that ever lived. No, there's somebody from a previous era who outshines all of them. His name is Andrew Carnegie, who during his lifetime as well as today through his foundation has given away more money than Bill and Melinda Gates are even worth. We're told that they're worth about $74 billion. You know how much money Carnegie and the foundation have given away? Over $75 billion given away. More than the net worth of Bill and Melinda Gates. Isn't that something? Isn't that tremendous that as blessed as they were, they still took up the responsibility to help others? And we think only they can do it. But no, brothers and sisters, if you'll be honest with yourself, God often blesses us and he tests us along the way because some of us are waiting for the big one. Well, I'm waiting until I hit the lottery. I'm waiting until I get a big payday. I'm waiting until I get the big bonus. And no, he's testing you now. With the little bit that you have. And that qualifies you for the greater that he has in store. So we got to be people of philanthropy like these lepers in the text who did not keep all of this to themselves but went back and let it be known that there are provisions, there is food, there are resources available so nobody else has to die.
Wow. Philanthropy, what a powerful concept. What do you gather from that and from what we just shared?
I looked up the definition of philanthropy, and it says the effort or inclination to increase the well-being of humankind. Another definition says goodwill to fellow members of the human race. And isn't that what the lepers did?
Yeah. They helped out. They were convicted, really, as they walked into this abundance of resources. It was more than they could ever exhaust on their own.
Amen.
And they felt convicted when they thought about their fellow citizens who were suffering and dying in the city. And thankfully, they realized we have this burden, this obligation, really, to go back and let them know that food is available. And They did that. And we learn from this that and I think that all of us have these inclinations as human beings where we're empathetic and sympathetic to the plight of others, especially those that are less advantaged or doing worse than we are. And when we have the ability and when we have the opportunity, we should turn around and be a blessing to someone else. I think oftentimes God blesses us to be a blessing to others. Certainly we're commanded to love our neighbors as we love ourselves. And oftentimes philanthropy shows up in the ability to give sums of money, to donate, and that's well and good. And when you're able to do that, we should do it. But you can volunteer as well. Your time, your services, your ability, your skills to lift, to elevate, to open doors for others. And that's the lesson that we should learn, that as we're striving and attempting, and as we gain success in what we are trying to do, when the opportunities present themselves, turn around and lift somebody else up. Open a door for somebody else. Be a blessing to someone else. Certainly, if you've got the finances, sow your seed and be a blessing to those organizations and individuals that could use your help. Because you have been blessed to be a blessing, and that's the lesson of philanthropy. We hope that you've enjoyed this series and that you look out for the next set of messages that will come on this channel. And we want you to stay tuned. So how can they do that?
Please don't forget to subscribe to our channel and also click that little notification button, and please, by all means, share this information with others. God bless you.
Yes, absolutely. If there's somebody that you think could benefit from this, share it with them and leave your comments below as well. Let us know what you think. Until next time, this is Patrick Kelly.
And I am Nicola Kelly.
With Faith International, your channel for faith, motivation, and
inspiration.
We'll see you next time. God bless.